The afternoon draws you west, through fields of sugarcane and maize, the land growing wide and golden beneath a vast sky. You stop at a roadside stand for a glass of fresco de ensalada, chilled fruit punch filled with diced apple, pineapple, and mamey, sweet and cold. Farmers pass in pickups stacked with melons and squash, waving as they head home from the day's work. You reach the foothills of the Apanica y Lamatepec Mountains, where the Ruta de las Flores winds through villages famous for their weekend festivals. The air is scented with coffee and chocolate. The streets are alive with stalls of pastries, pupusas, and steaming atol. Murals bloom on the walls, hummingbirds, volcanoes, baskets of flowers, and women with long, braiding hair. In Ahuizalco, you explore the evening market by candlelight, the stalls bright with baskets, woven mats, carved gourds, and candles made from beeswax. Musicians play marimba and guitar, their music drifting through the warm air. You buy sweetbread for tomorrow's journey and a woven hammock bright as the sunrise. The next morning, you visit a coffee farm. Mist clings to the slopes, and workers pick cherries by hand, singing as they move through the rows. You help sort the beans, learning the difference between ripe and green, good and bad, feeling the history of hands and harvest in every gesture. The air is rich with the smell of roasting beans, and you sip a cup brewed fresh, the flavor deep and bright. As you walk through gardens bright with bougainvillea and orchids, you hear stories of the land, of the Pipil and Lenca, the country's first peoples, of sacred ceiba trees, of gods and ancestors who watch over every hill and river. The old ways linger here, in the pattern of weaving, in the festivals that bless each planting and harvest, in the names whispered at dusk. Your path leads to the Pacific coast, where black sand beaches stretch between cliffs and coconut groves. The waves roll in, steady and powerful, drawing surfers from across the world. You sit beneath a palm, toes in the warm sand, watching children play in the surf, their laughter blending with the crash of the tide. Fishermen mend their nets in the shade, and the day's catch is grilled over driftwood fires. Snapper, shrimp, plantains, and yuca. You share the meal with strangers who become friends. The salt and smoke, the tang of lime and chile, the easy grace of open-hearted hospitality. As sunset paints the sky in gold and crimson, the whole village gathers on the beach. Bonfires are lit, drums beat, and dancers swirl in the firelight. Songs are sung to the moon and sea, prayers whispered for safe passage and a generous tide. You walk the water's edge one last time, feeling the pulse of the ocean and the world's deep, gentle turning. As our narrated discovery of El Salvador comes to a close, we hope this journey brought you a sense of wonder, stillness, and quiet joy. If you enjoyed exploring with us, please consider subscribing for more poetic journeys to the world's hidden places. Leave a comment if you have thoughts, suggestions, or a country you'd love us to visit next. And if this brought you a moment of calm, a like would mean the world. Thank you for exploring gently with us. Until next time, welcome to A Narrated Discovery, the channel where we wander slowly, listen deeply, and explore the world's hidden beauty, one country at a time. Today, our path leads to El Salvador, the smallest country in Central America, but a land ablaze with color, spirit, and resilience. Bordered by Honduras to the northeast, Guatemala to the northwest, and the Pacific Ocean along its long southern coast, El Salvador is a country of volcanic mountains, black sand beaches, coffee plantations, and bustling towns. With a population of about 6.3 million, most Salvadorans are Roman Catholic or Protestant, and everywhere ancient indigenous traditions echo in festivals, food, and the wisdom of the land. Here the sacred and the everyday meet, on every hillside, in every market, at every table. Settle in, breathe deep, and wander with us, from the sunlit surf to cool mountain mist, from quiet villages to lively cities, as we seek the heart of El Salvador. Imagine yourself at dawn, on the shores of Playa El Tunco, the Pacific's waves rising and falling in a slow, endless dance. The sand is black and warm, speckled with polished stones and driftwood. The sky grows pale behind the silhouettes of leaning palms. Fishermen launch their skiffs into the surf, their calls lost in the hush of tide. On the sand, surfers wax their boards, watching the waves with hopeful eyes. You walk along the water's edge, where the foam curls around your feet, and the air smells of salt, mangrove, and distant wood smoke. A family gathers for breakfast on a woven mat. Pupusas, hot from the griddle, filled with beans, cheese or chicharrón, crisp at the edge and soft inside. You are welcomed with a smile, handed a plate and a scoop of curtido, cabbage slaw bright with lime and chili. The meal is simple, eaten with hands and laughter as the sun rises gold on the water. After breakfast, you follow a sandy path to the village, where children in bright uniforms walk to school, their backpacks bouncing. Vendors open their stalls along the road. Fruit sellers with pyramids of mango and papaya, women with baskets of tamales wrapped in banana leaf, a man with a pushcart selling atol, sweet, warm corn drink. The day unfolds in a gentle rhythm, sunlight growing stronger, voices rising as the village wakes. You wander through a market filled with colors, woven hammocks, embroidered blouses, hand-painted ceramics. The air is heavy with the scent of coffee brewing, sweetbread, and roasting maize. You pause to taste a slice of quesadilla, not cheese, but a cake rich with milk and sesame, its crumb light as a cloud. The road leads north into the mountains, where the land rises in folds of green and gold. Coffee fincas cling to the slopes, their trees shaded by tall madre de cacao. Workers move between the rows, hands stained red with ripe cherries, singing softly as they harvest. You stop for a cup of coffee, dark and smooth, served with a wedge of sugarcane and a view that stretches all the way to the sea. By midday, you reach a village perched on the shoulder of a volcano. The streets are steep, cobbled, bright with murals. Bougainvillea spills over whitewashed walls. Parrots chatter in the treetops. An old woman offers you sopa de gallina, chicken soup fragrant with cilantro, lime, and the smoke of wood fire. You eat beneath the shade of a jacaranda, the petals falling soft and purple at your feet. Afternoon brings you deeper into the heart of the mountains. Mist curls through pine forests, and the road twists along high ridges. You stop at a mirador, a lookout where the world drops away on all sides. Valleys patterned with corn and beans. Volcanoes rising in blue distance. their slopes stitched with tiny villages. The air is cool, tinged with wood smoke and the sweet scent of wildflowers. You follow a narrow trail to a waterfall hidden in the jungle. The sound is soft at first, then louder as you draw near, water plunging into a clear pool surrounded by ferns and moss. Children splash and shout, their voices echoing off the stone. You sit on a sun-warmed rock, dipping your feet in the water, feeling the mountain's slow, patient pulse. As you wander back, you pass fields of maize and sugarcane, the earth dark and rich. Farmers tend their crops with quiet diligence, machetes flashing in the light. A group of women husk corn together beneath a mango tree, their laughter rising above the chirr of cicadas. By evening, you arrive in Suchitoto, a colonial town perched above a shimmering lake. The plaza is lively, with families strolling, couples sharing ice cream, and old men playing dominoes in the shade. White church towers rise above red-tiled roofs, and the air is fragrant with jasmine and frying plantains. You sit at a cafe overlooking the square, sipping horchata made from toasted seeds and spices, cool and creamy. Street musicians begin to play, marimba, guitar, and the soft beat of a cajon. Children dance in the lamplight, and the day settles into a gentle hush. Night falls, and you join a family for dinner in their courtyard. The meal is a feast. Yuca frita, curtido, fried fish fresh from the lake, a pot of black beans slow cooked with epazote. There is laughter and quiet talk, stories told of old San Salvador, of festivals and storms, of weddings and the planting of coffee in the misty hills. You taste sopa de pata, beef soup, rich with vegetables and maize, and finish with sweet plátano and mole, plantain stewed in cinnamon and chocolate. You sleep in a simple room, the window open to the lake breeze. The air hums with the music of crickets, the far-off echo of laughter, the hush of a place that remembers every sorrow and every joy. Morning comes early, with the call of doves and the first gold light on the lake. You walk to the shore where fishermen haul in nets and birds skim the water. A woman sells fresh tortillas from a basket, soft and steaming, with cheese and beans. The first boat leaves for the far shore, its motor puttering, the passengers waving to friends on the dock. You follow a dusty road north into the highlands, passing murals painted with stories of war and peace. You stop to read the names, to touch the bright, careful lines, reminders of resilience, hope, and the power of memory in this small, brave country. You journey on to Perquin, high in the mountains near the border with Honduras. The air is crisp and pine-scented, the landscape shaped by deep valleys, hidden rivers, and the soft blue of distant peaks. This was once the heartland of civil war, but now the town is quiet, the wounds healed with time and patient work. You visit a small museum, its walls filled with photographs and old radios, children's drawings, the stories of struggle and survival. An old man tells you of days spent hiding in the forest, of hope that would not die. His voice is steady, yet his eyes shine with gratitude for peace, for the laughter of children now free of play in the plaza. You walk with local guides along narrow trails, through cloud forest alive with birdsong. The sun breaks through the mist, illuminating bright orchids, hummingbirds flashing between blooms, and butterflies swirling in the filtered light. At a clearing, you pause to rest on mossy stones, sharing a cup of coffee brewed over a wood fire. The talk turns to land and memory, the way rivers remember storms, the way people carry stories in their hearts. Thank afternoon, you descend to a valley where a river flows fast and cold, the banks lined with wildflowers. You wade into the water, laughing as minnows dart around your ankles, the mountain's blessing fresh and clear. You stop at a village where artisans shape clay into bright pottery, their hands moving sure and skilled. You help paint a simple bowl, your design clumsy but welcomed with smiles and encouragement. Children run between the houses, dogs at their heels, their laughter as free as the wind. Night falls in the highlands with a sudden hush, the sky bright with stars. You join a bonfire in the village square, the flames dancing as elders tell legends of Nawales, shapeshifters who prowl the forest, of the old gods of volcano and rain, of La Siguanaba, who wanders by rivers at midnight. Songs rise, drums pulse, and for a while, the world is woven of shadow, myth, and firelight. You sleep wrapped in a woven blanket, the mountain air cool and clean, dreams wandering the space between memory and hope. With dawn, you travel south to the city, San Salvador, the capital nestled in a valley beneath the slopes of volcanoes. The city is bright and busy, markets crowded with color, buses painted with wild murals, the scent of roasted corn and sweet bread drifting through the streets. Churches rise in every neighborhood, and murals tell the stories of saints, of struggle, of hope for a better world. You visit the cathedral, its cool stone echoing with prayer and candlelight. You sit in the plaza watching the world pass. Shoe shiners, flower vendors, school children with books in hand, lovers whispering beneath jacarandas. Nearby, the clock tower rings the hour, the sound carrying over the rooftops and into the green hills beyond. You share a midday meal of tamales and fresh fruit, pineapple and watermelon sweet in the sun. A poet recites verses in the shade of an old mango tree, the words bright with longing, with the promise of days to come. Night falls in the highlands with a sudden hush, the sky bright with stars. You join a bonfire in the village square, the flames dancing as elders tell legends of Nawales, shapeshifters who prowl the forest, of the old gods of volcano and rain, of La Siguanaba, who wanders by rivers at midnight. Songs rise, drums pulse, and for a while, the world is woven of shadow, myth, and firelight. You sleep wrapped in a woven blanket, the mountain air cool and clean, dreams wandering the space between memory and hope. With dawn, you travel south to the city, San Salvador, the capital nestled in a valley beneath the slopes of volcanoes. The city is bright and busy, markets crowded with color, buses painted with wild murals, the scent of roasted corn and sweet bread drifting through the streets. Churches rise in every neighborhood, and murals tell the stories of saints, of struggle, of hope for a better world. You visit the cathedral, its cool stone echoing with prayer and candlelight. You sit in the plaza watching the world pass. Shoe shiners, flower vendors, school children with books in hand, lovers whispering beneath jacarandas. Nearby, the clock tower rings the hour, the sound carrying over the rooftops and into the green hills beyond. You share a midday meal of tamales and fresh fruit, pineapple and watermelon sweet in the sun. A poet recites verses in the shade of an old mango tree, the words bright with longing, with the promise of days to come.